Welcome to Rage Against the Mainstream, your full spectrum source for all things music, insight, and opinion. Today's date is February 14th, 2022. Happy Valentine's Day. My name is Bill, and I'm joined here today with Erik.
Hello, hello.
You're starting to become like a frequent, frequent flyer on this show now. I think third time's the charm, I think they say.
We're not going to be back for a fourth?
I don't know. Let's see how this goes.
All right.
So, have you encountered anything new or interesting in the past couple weeks? Actually, it's only been like 2 weeks since you've been on the show, as opposed to like the last time was like 6 months.
Yeah. Not much has happened. Red Hot Chili Peppers released Black Summer, their first new single off the album.
What's the album called? Black Summer?
I honestly have no idea. I know there's a song called Black Summer.
This is the first one back with John Frusciante, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never a giant fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I do kind of like this song.
Yeah, I think... What was his name? Josh Klinghoffer?
Yeah, Klinghoffer.
He was all right, but I feel like John's, which is way much...
Yeah.
They just mesh so much better.
Well, he was like essentially like made for that band. Like he based all of his playing around Red Hot Chili Peppers, and like that was it. Klinghoffer, though, I mean, he was interesting. He was definitely interesting. It's kind of funny that he's in fucking Pearl Jam now.
He is?
Yeah.
Damn.
Or he's doing a song with Pearl Jam, something. I don't know, but I know that they're.
It's just with Eddie Vedder.
Yeah. So my new and interesting, cruising through YouTube like I normally do, I just typed in brutal breakdowns is what I typed in. I was expecting to hear like slam and like deathcore type breakdowns, and I came across this video that was a compilation, and the song that struck me as interesting was it was called Gore Conspiracy by Russian death metal band Katalepsy. Katalepsy. Katalepsy.
Catlepsy?
Catlepsy? I don't know. Anyone listening over there in Russia want to help us out with this one? Super brutal, nasty, like can barely make out with any of the instruments, is like it was recorded like on an iPhone, like with static in the background. I've read up a little bit on them. They were formed in 2003 in Russia, and that's pretty much all I have. All their other music kind of sounds pretty much the same to this, but if you're looking for something like super brutal and something you can literally not tell what you're listening to, other than it just being super nasty, this is the kind of shit you want to go for.
Very, very fast.
Yeah, so that's about it. I guess let's get into our fucking on this day in music history.
All right. You going first? Me going first?
No, you go first. You're the guest.
That's true. 2004, today, 2004. After 9 weeks at number 1 in the U.S., Hey Ya gives another Outkast song, The Way You Move, gives way to...
Actually, why don't you start with 1972?
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll go up. No edits on this show. This is the best part about this podcast. There is no edits. It's super raw.
How raw is it, Bill?
I don't know. That all determines on how the rest of the show goes.
My bad. 1972, Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20 is born in America. American parents in West Germany.
I don't know what the general consensus is throughout the Twitter sphere of Matchbox 20, but I personally am a giant fan of Matchbox 20. They're one of those like adult alternative bands that are just like, they stand the test of time. Any of one of those Matchbox 20 songs, it's like a Nickelback song. You put it on.
Whoa.
You put it on, and you don't want to be caught singing to it, but you know you are. It's like the new TikTok trend with what Creed song is it? It's like Creed's like My Sacrifice or some shit. It's always like people in like different situations, and like they hear it and like they'll turn around the other way and sing it. That's kind of how I think everyone feels about Matchbox 20, but I love Matchbox 20.
I like them.
They're definitely an underrated band, like, you know, from that time period. Moving on here to 1999. The Deftones, on their final stop of their tour opening for Black Sabbath, found out their truck had been stolen from the parking lot of the Holiday Inn in Dearborn, Michigan. Taken are all of the band's backline equipment and instruments, including several Cheese basses and Stephen Carpenter's guitars and amps and stuff. I don't know anything about Dearborn, Michigan, but I do know Detroit's in Michigan, and Detroit's one of the worst cities in the world. So I think
brings the whole state down.
Yeah, it brings the entire state down. Like, at least with New Jersey, we have like Bon Jovi and shit. Like, people just don't immediately think of Camden when they think of New Jersey.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
or Newark.
Yeah. Like, they don't instantly think of Jersey Shore. Or no, they do think of Jersey Shore immediately. But they never go, man, Camden's a real shithole.
New Jersey's like a piece of toast. It's a little soggy on the outside, but firms up in the middle.
That was good.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, it's you. Now you get to read 2004.
Yeah, we're back. After 9 weeks at number 1 in the U.S., Hey Ya gives way to another Outkast song, The Way You Move, which has been number 2 the previous 8 weeks, a record for most weeks at number 2 before claiming the top spot.
I guess you could say it was a late bloomer in a sense. I personally like The Way You Move more. I think it's a way better song. Hey Ya has the perfect qualities to it being a hit song, and, you know, like being like the cookie cutter like radio single. But I just think The Way You Move has like a better groove to it. It's just like I don't know. In my opinion, I think it's a better song.
Yeah. Though Hey Ya had that music video that I remember seeing.
The music video was cool
until to this day. And that was the first instance of me probably seeing a Rickenbacker. He was playing one in that video.
I do remember the video for The Way You Move, though. I think it was him like wrapping around a bunch of like low riders with big rims. I'm pretty sure that was the video, as was like any rap video in 2004.
Yeah.
You know, giving a nod there to Slim Thug and Paul Wall, Mike Jones. But yeah, I mean, that it's kind of crazy though that a band held the number 1 and number 2 spot. But like that album, like they weren't even a band anymore.
Yeah.
Like they were completely split up, and it was 2 separate albums essentially. And it's just funny that both of them were number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Key and Peele skit of like Andre 3000 like going to the coffee shop and Big Boy's there?
No.
Oh my God, dude. I got something to show you. It's so fucking funny. Last thing here in music history, 2019, Kanye West hires Kenny G to play his sultry saxophone in a room full of roses for his wife, Kim Kardashian, as a Valentine's Day surprise. They end up collaborating with Kenny G, playing on Kanye's Jesus is King track, Use This Gospel.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
You think Pete Davidson has Kenny G money?
I don't think he needs Kenny G money. It's another one of those things. Like, I think it's funny because the last time you were on the show, like we were talking about the Britney Spears thing.
Yeah.
Like now the new big thing is Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, and like how fucking horrible their divorce is. And he is a motherfucker I think really needs to be put away. Like, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he probably is going to listen to me say this right now, and he's going to knock on the fucking door.
Oh, hell no.
I always go back to, like, the thing, though. Dave Chappelle did a stand-up talking about him, and, like, when he was on Chappelle's show, before he was even famous, like, he was like a nobody, he was referring to himself in the third person. Like,
Yeah.
could you imagine if I was like, yeah, Bill likes that a lot? They'd be like, who's Bill? Bill is me.
Bill says the bill is Bill.
Yeah, exactly. But like, it is kind of crazy though, and like he's like dragging, her and the kids, and it's just wild. I mean, then again, you reap what you sow, and I'm not a giant fan of the Kardashians or their lifestyle or their choices. Kris Kardashian or Kris Jenner, she's a very smart business person, and they made a lot of money off of
Nothing.
Yeah, basically nothing.
You ever see the Kanye West freak out on Sway in the Morning?
No.
Oh my god.
Is it good?
It's like full blown meltdown. Actually, you probably saw it when you were searching brutal breakdowns. Surprised it didn't come up.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But going back here to my comment earlier about a late bloomer in Andre 3000 and Big Boy. Today's
He used to be Little Boy.
Yeah, he used to be Little Boy. He's Big Boy now. The topic I want to get into today is bands that not necessarily weren't good, but bands that didn't really like get popular until later on in their careers. I guess starting off, I want to bring up AC/DC. You had High Voltage and Dirty Deeds and Highway to Hell, and like they were pretty big albums, and they were a pretty successful band at that point in time. And then Back in Black happened.
Yeah.
And then they went from just another rock band to in every household across the fucking world, across the globe, everyone knew who AC/DC was after Back in Black. And I mean, it kind of sucks that all the success and everything happened after Bon Scott died, but there's, and like Steve is he's the type of guy that's like AC/DC before Brian Johnson and then after Brian Johnson. I do think that the band was different after Bon Scott. It lost its edge. Yeah. And it kind of became very formulaic, and it was just like another rock band, like basically putting out the same fucking 10 songs for however many years. But Back in Black really, in my opinion, put them on the map. Like if they weren't already on the map before. They became the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That one's better.
Nice.
So what do you got?
My first one's kind of a bummer. It's not really common knowledge, but I want to talk about Sublime. Their self-titled album came out in 1996. Coincidentally, it came out 2 months after Bradley Knowles died.
That's crazy.
Like the band was already defunct by the time they even got out. Before they even had the potential to get famous. But they had Robin the Hood, 40 Ounces of the Freedom, came out in 1992.
Yeah.
They like that was their breakthrough album was their last album.
That's just crazy.
And they weren't even a band.
I mean, I guess at that point you have less royalties to split up.
Yeah, true.
Nah, that's tragic. Another one on my list here is The Replacements. With Let It Be, that kind of like blew them up into like the stratosphere of, alternative bands. But I feel like the album that should have got them bigger was Tim.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I think Tim fucking smashes Let It Be. And it just sucks that like I've always said it. They came out at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Like they were literally like 10 years too early. And if anyone has never heard the album Tim by The Replacements, I highly suggest to go listen to it. It is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's like alternative rock like masterpiece. Like front to back, it's amazing.
It always kind of annoyed me I saw that one interview that Kurt Cobain did, and he's like, yeah, I don't really like the Replacements. I'm like, what a dick.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't like the Replacements? He's like, the interview was like, yeah, you know, like a lot of people around me like the Replacements, and like I'm just like not. This
I'm more
is
of
not.
a Pixies guy.
Yeah, it's just like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean you don't like the Replacements?
Yeah.
And like, you can't tell me that Nirvana wasn't somehow shaped or influenced by the Replacements at all. It's just impossible. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, true.
Tommy Stinson, dude.
Oh,
Inside
man.
joke.
My next one up is Sugar Ray.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Sugar Ray had their breakthrough album was pretty much Floored in 1998. That had Fly on it.
Yeah.
They actually had an album before that called Lemonade and Brownies, and it's amazing.
It's totally different than the Sugar Ray that we're all accustomed to.
Yeah, like
I know the album you're talking about.
Yeah, they changed their sound up. Like they went from like Motown to like harder rock on that album, and then they came out with Floored, and that had Fly on it.
Yeah, another band that's almost similar to that is like Beastie Boys.
Yeah,
like punk band, like heavy band, and then all of a sudden they're rappers.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, it worked. I think it worked.
Yeah, Beastie Boys is awesome.
A next one that I have. It should come as no surprise if you follow the show and if you're fans of this band that I'm about to bring up, but Pantera. Pantera had released like 3 albums before Cowboys from Hell. Pantera's like tenure was from like 1985 to like 2001.
Yeah.
So they were a band for 16 years. And they were only like famous for 9 of those years.
Yeah. And like they don't have a bad album.
No, hell no. I mean, like the older, I mean, it's an acquired taste, like Metal Magic and all that other shit. It's an acquired taste, but Cowboys from Hell on, there isn't a bad album.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of funny that, and this is like another instance too, where they completely changed their sound. They completely changed. It was a night and day difference. And they basically spawned an entire new genre in music.
Yeah, they really did.
Yeah, they 100% did. And it's just funny, and it's kind of disheartening that, you know, like Dimebag had to pass, like as he was getting ready for a second, you know, thing of success with music.
Yeah,
because they had worked, him and Vinnie Paul, they had worked so hard for this, and then, you know, like they only reaped the benefits for what, 12 years? He was killed in 2004. So yeah, they only reaped the benefits for 12 years, and it's just like they had another 12 of like super hard work before it.
Yep.
It's just crazy, but yeah, Pantera. Undeniable.
Domination. My next suggestion is Daft Punk. Their album Homework that came out in 1997.
Yeah.
That was the album before Discovery in 2001. That was like their blow up into the stratosphere.
Yeah. Is that the one that had One More Time on it?
Discovery was,
yeah.
Yeah, they had Homework that had Defunk on it.
Yeah.
Oh no, like that song's amazing.
Yeah.
Like they were. It was kind of weird because where they came out, they were like so far removed from the 80s that what they were doing was fresh. Like, but with new technology. So,
oh yeah,
like they came out and they like set the freaking world on fire with Discovery, and then Random Access Memories, their last album, was amazing. Like that's a perfect electronic album.
Well, what's funny is I watched It was a documentary. It was called What We Made or something. It was an EDM documentary, and they didn't even like bring up Daft Punk at all. Like it was all like focused on like Calvin Harris or whatever the fuck that kid's name is, and like DJ fucking Tiesto or some shit. I don't fucking know, but it was basically like a bunch of fucking jerk offs, and it was just like it was a very good documentary. And I don't mean to call them jerk offs. It's just the way I'm talking. But they didn't talk about like Daft Punk or anything like that. Actually, Skrillex wasn't even brought up. And I was just like, man, this is a little fucking weird. You have a documentary about EDM, but you're not talking about the dude that literally brought it to the mainstream. Or the other guy that brought it completely to the mainstream. It's just really weird. But
Skrillex is just weird. Like from first to last to like spearheading a genre's like explosion.
He gets a lot of hate for it too, and I just don't understand it. Like he literally cracked the code on how to make a dubstep song and have it be marketable to normal everyday people, and they just shit all over it. It's basically like another Nickelback effect. Yeah, that's gonna be the term, the Nickelback effect. Skrillex he was part of the Nickelback effect. He had cracked the code, and everyone hated him for it.
Bastards.
My last one here, and this one's going to generate some conversation here, hopefully on our social media platforms, because it's pretty controversial depending on which way you think about it. If you want to, you can find us on our social media accounts, facebook.com/RATM Podcast, Instagram and Twitter @RATM Podcast, or you can write us an email at ratmpodcast@gmail.com. But my final band here is Metallica.
The Metallica. That lead up, I thought you were going to say Britney Spears.
Metallica, they had released their first 4 albums, Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All. They're all coveted albums. They're all fucking like certified like masterpieces. But something else besides Cowboys from Hell happened in 1991. And that was Metallica's The Black Album. If no one knew who Metallica was before then, they 100% knew who they were after the needle dropped on The Black Album.
It was like a Nevermind thing. Like it was like on the radio, all over the place.
And I mean, I hate to be like Metallica fanboy, but the Black Album, in my opinion, is like one of the best produced albums. It's got some of the best drum sounds I've ever heard in any studio ever. The songwriting is impeccable. And it's one of those albums where you don't have to skip any songs, because every song is just a straight banger. Every one of them. And I mean, people hate the Black Album. And it's another one of those like the Bon Scott effect. Before Bon Scott, after Bon Scott. And or before Brian Johnson, after Brian Johnson. There's Metallica, pre-Black Album and post-Black Album. Then that's how the Brian Johnson effect turns into the Nickelback effect, because Metallica cracked the code. Maybe Metallica is the start of this whole thing. Maybe it should be the Metallica effect.
Maybe.
They cracked the code. The Black Album was a masterpiece. And then they continued their success with Load and Reload. And then they kind of fell off with Saint Anger, which is understandable because not everything could be perfect.
Yeah.
And then, I haven't been a giant fan of anything else they put out, but
Lulu.
Yeah, Lulu obviously is their number one.
Let's get Lou Reed.
But yeah, Metallica is one of those bands that I think, to the mainstream is a late bloomer type band. And it's funny, too, because, I can only imagine what it was like in the 90s, like hearing Metallica for the first time and then going into their back catalog and being like, whoa, this isn't even the same band anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you think about it. You put on the Black Album and then you put on, I don't know, fucking Battery. And it's like, this isn't the same band.
It's almost like the late 80s to the early 90s. Like, that was when kind of like radio stations as a whole were like, let's give like more edgy music a chance.
Yeah.
And it
couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah, open the floodgates for stuff like the Black Album.
Yeah. So what do you got?
Last album for me, or last band for me is the White Stripes.
Okay.
They I think it was 2004.
Elefunk.
Yeah, Elefunk.
Yeah.
That came out. They had 3 albums prior to that, though, and they were great. The White Stripes, self-titled, They Still. I have never heard anybody say that album. Like, I don't even know if I don't know if you can speak it with the human tongue. And then White Blood Cells. Yeah, they were like a lot more folky.
Okay.
Kind of stripped back in the earlier stuff.
Yeah.
And the 4th album, we get Seven Nation Army.
Mm-hmm. You hear that noise?
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah, I remember Seven Nation Army. I remember hearing that for the first time, and like I thought it was like a brand new band. Mm-hmm. It is kind of funny though that they had 2 or 3 albums previously, but
yeah, they had their success. They didn't have any like huge radio singles.
Yeah,
but Seven Nation, like, it's like there was no Seven Nation Army before that song came out. Like that was the like it gets played everywhere. Every arena, every arena like in the entire world plays that. I'm gonna
fight 'em off. Seven Nation Army couldn't hold me back. Yeah, that's really funny. And listeners of the show know my stance on Jack White. I think he's a total fucking jerk off.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever seen him Mic It Loud?
That was with Jimmy Page and
The Edge.
Yeah.
He was like in the car, and he's like, and they're like, "What do you think is gonna happen when you guys get together?" He's like, "Probably gonna fist fight." And he was like all serious, and I was just like, "What a dick!" Like, what do you mean fist fight? You're not fist fighting Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page is gonna walk up and just go, "What are you doing, mate?"
I always thought it was funny that
bitch slap him.
Whenever Jack White's talking and it like goes to like Jimmy Page, he's just like, it's not like they play it off as respect, but it's like it looks like he's like, look at how cute this guy is. And then there's the Edge where he's like, yeah, and this is how I get this tone. I just gotta click all 15 delay pedals on. Jimmy Page is like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. The one thing that's so funny is like there was like a deleted scene or something. I don't remember if it was in the final movie, but Jimmy Page was like teaching them how to play Kashmir, and like Jack White like couldn't get the handle of it. It was just like, oh, you're some like self-proclaimed fucking guitar god, and you can't learn this. Yeah. Even the Edge has it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and
that's
it's
funny.
Repeating 7 times.
So, what do you think? Was there bands that obviously there was bands that we didn't bring up? There's only so much you could pack into a half-hour show. But do you agree with our choices? Do you disagree with our choices? Find us on our social media accounts: Facebook.com/RATM Podcast, Instagram and Twitter at RATM Podcast, and of course, you can get us on our email, ratmpodcast@gmail.com. But until then, let's get into our suggestions for this week. I'll let you go first, Eric.
Ooh. You go first.
Okay, so friends of the podcast, Metallica, just released their new single, Glass Planet, off of their, I guess, new EP, not yet released, called Glass Planet. If you were a fan of Descending, and if you are at all a fan of Metallica or even a fan of Rage Against the Mainstream podcast, I strongly suggest you to check out Glass Planet. It is incredible. It's another one of those from start to finish, super brutality, and, you know, the vocals from RJ. It's just a extremely good song. And, yeah, Metallica, Glass Planet.
Awesome. I'll be checking it out. My suggestion this week is Short Circuit by Daft Punk.
Okay. At first I thought you were getting ready to say like Short Circuit, like Johnny Five Short Circuit.
No. Yeah, Daft Punk. It's a very, very cool song.
Yeah, I like Daft Punk. I think they're just the soundscapes they're able to make, and like the mood they're able to do, like the moods they're able to invoke with electronic music. It's an art form. I talk a lot of shit about EDM, but it is an art form, and those guys are like the Michelangelos,
yeah,
if you will.
Yeah, Short Circuit is like we were talking about EDM, and I had to switch it up because this is like Short Circuit's a song that's like pre-EDM,
yeah,
but it's got all the elements.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, that's another episode of Rage Against the Mainstream podcast for the books. If you like, you can find us on our social media accounts again. Facebook.com/RATM Podcast, Instagram and Twitter at RATM Podcast. And of course, if those characters aren't enough, you can write to us, ratmpodcast@gmail.com. Oh, and don't forget, YouTube search Rage Against the Mainstream Podcast. The more views you give us and the more subscriptions you give us, the easier it's going to be to say this whole thing. It could eventually be like youtube.com/RATM Podcast, but instead right now it's like youtube.com/search/?XZP2145 or something along those lines. But yeah, so find us on our social media accounts, email us, watch our videos. We do this for you. So on that note, this is another episode of Rage Against the Mainstream Podcast. I want to thank you all for listening. My name is Bill.
My name is Eric.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for listening.